Does God exist? That seems to be the question for a lot of people. So let me answer this right here, right now, very quickly. The truth is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it is the wrong question. Hello, I'm David, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So why doesn't it matter? Because either way, it is the same experience. So in this video, I just want to give you 4 rational reasons why it is just more practical to believe in something, in my honest opinion. Okay, reason number 1, spirituality provides a moral framework. And why is a moral framework so important? Because it is deeply interconnected with our belief system. And this is defining how you orient yourself in the world. You know, it heavily influences your philosophy of what's good and evil. And that leads to it matters what you do in this world, in this life. Instead of going through life with a nihilistic perspective, there are no rules and everything is meaningless. As a spiritual person, you cannot just go around and hurt other people. Because first, you wouldn't want that, because you perceive them as part of yourself and that you are connected in some way. And secondly, you would have the knowledge that it will come back anyway, eventually. Think about karma. So, with having this knowledge in the back of your head, it just almost forces you to be a better person than you are. And I'm not saying that I'm the best person or whatever, like I'm having definitely bad sides to myself. I can be moody, I can be an asshole sometimes, of course. But spirituality forces me to be aware afterwards and to reflect on myself. And that's always leading to an improvement of that situation. It's always leading to either helping me letting things go that don't serve me anymore, or to having a vulnerable conversation, or to alchemize those emotions in another way, you know? Because when the goal is to be a good person and you get rewarded for it, which is like the core message of spirituality, then that would be such a improvement for society if a lot of people would believe that way and would act that way. And it's obviously a no-brainer that your life quality increases by a huge margin. Okay, reason number 2. Spirituality gives your life a purpose and it guides you through dark times. It is 100% sure that you will fall into a deep, deep crisis eventually, at some point in your life. And the question is, what do you want to fall back on? Do you want to fall back onto a mindset of it is all meaningless? You experience this hell for no reason and there is no light at the end of the tunnel? Let me tell you one thing. That is very close to a complete victim mentality. And that can become quite dangerous, especially for yourself. When there is nothing left to lose, then there's nothing that holds you back any longer from doing whatever, you know? Every everything horrible you can imagine is possible then. And believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a runaway kid. I ran away from home when I was 13 years old. I slept on Central Station in my hometown at 15 years old. I was as low and as down society-wise spoken as you can imagine. And I can just tell you, it can go so quick. This illusion of safety, it's nothing more than an illusion. It can even come from within that you lose everything. Think about a disease. In the course of our life, everyone will get a disease at some point. Everyone will get sick and everyone dies. But when you are able to perceive these things not as pure, unluckiness, but maybe as an apprentice to life, and you see a challenge in this, then you can alchemize these bad times because your faith will guide you through it. There is a lesson to be learned in the pain. And this lesson will afterwards help you orient yourself differently in the world and your life and deal with problems in a different way. When I was homeless, I gained so much knowledge about myself and my life. It is beyond everything else I ever learned. Because when you lose everything, you know, it's nothing you have to be fearful of any longer. I mean, obviously it was super uncomfortable and was horrible back in the day, but I know I can handle it. I know I can get through it. So I am not afraid of this anymore. And the same thing with, like, for example, a heart disease. So many healers have been deeply sick at one time in their life. And I understand that's a hot topic, and I don't want to, you know, disrespect anybody with a disease, but rather give a different framework that it actually can help you deal with it in a different way. Because when you are an apprentice to your pain, you're not falling into this victimhood, but rather finding a purpose in why this pain is helping me eventually. What I can maybe, you know, teach my surrounding with it, how to get through it, how to manage things. You know, your pain is your medicine in the end, because everyone who hasn't gone through it or is going through it currently can be healed by you as soon as you manage to handle it. So maybe think about it in that way. That could be your purpose in a very dark time. You know, and that will help you to get out of bed in the morning when everything else seems meaningless. At least that's my perspective. Okay, reason number 3, it transforms your negative emotion. In my puberty, I would define myself as an atheist. And in my point of view, spiritual people were the most stupid and the most weak people on the entire planet. Too stupid to listen to scientific evidence, too weak to deal with the world as it is, and that's why they have to lie to themselves in order to deal with it. I'm very happy that I grew out of this, because in those times I would feel lost all the time, always. And since I had my spiritual awakening, this feeling of being lost has been gone completely. It completely vanished. Instead of it, I now have a positive outlook for the future, and I'm 100% certain that things will turn out for me in a great way. Therefore, I am attracting positive people, opportunities, and situations in my life all the time. And you know, just from a rational perspective again, instead of having this meaningless attitude or this hopeful attitude, that changes your biochemistry. And you can just perceive it on other people, how they are. You can feel what they feel, kinda. You can feel their energy. You can feel their vibe. So just from a rational perspective, it's obvious that when you are living in this delusional state that is positive and uplifting, it is benefiting you instead of living a meaningless existence. I don't know how often I said the word meaningless already in this video. Spirituality just makes you happier. That's a fact. So another emotion that got transformed in my life was anxiety. Because my faith gives me the courage to go into the uncertainty, to handle my fears head on. And it constantly proves me that I can go through it, that I can actually handle these things. For example, living in a forest for months. You know, I had packs of wild boars approach me every single night, you know. In the first night I was terrified, but after a week or so, I was happy to hear them. you know? They were like my pets who wanted to steal my food. But great thing about your fate is it's your ally. And even though if it's a delusion or not, it is benefiting you to such a major effect in your life, and to deal with your problems in such a empowered way. That's really what it is. It's self-empowering, and it's giving you confidence. Another thing is your relationship with death, you know? That's another thing. Completely transformed. I'm not scared of death at all. I'm rather curious. Like this whole question, what happens after death? It's just playful, you know? I'm just curious what's going to happen. And that's another big thing that's, you know, that just lifts, that just got lifted up from my shoulders. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, reason number 4, healing spiritual experiences. There are plenty of studies that show how valuable yoga or meditation is. Or another example from my life, when I flew to South America to take ayahuasca, I was in a very, very bad breakup, like really soul-crushing breakup. I was literally lying in my apartment in fetal position, crawling at the floor and couldn't move. I literally couldn't move anymore. So to get myself out of that, it would have taken years probably, because I was just so destroyed. So when I was at this low point, I decided to take ayahuasca to fly to South America, as I said. And within 2 weeks, they got me to a place where I even didn't think about the woman for days anymore. You know, I looked back and was like, oh shit, I didn't thought about her for 2 days now. And you know, that's usually you know, like a step of success down the road when you heal yourself and you think like, oh wow, didn't think of her one whole day. Yeah, I'm really getting better. That happened there within 2 weeks of ceremonies and of the community. That was so healing. It's beyond everything I ever experienced. And with Western medicine, with a therapist to work through that, that would never have happened like that. I would maybe even got antidepressants or something, and I would still be fucked up. I'm 100% sure of that. And I'm not shitting on Western medicine altogether, but like just giving like an alternative. Because those spiritual practices, they are the medicine for our soul. That's at least how I see it. Even though they have physical benefits as well. I mean, I wouldn't go to to an ayahuasca ceremony if I would break my arm, for example. Yeah. But it's just like a different school, a different approach. So those were the 4 reasons that came to my mind. If you have maybe a different perspective or something to add, please write me a comment. I would love to know how you see it. And yeah, aside from that, I mentioned that I lived in the forest, so I will put my movie up here. And yeah, if you want to get some psychological, kind of spiritual tools that will help you with any kind of problem, I will link the tools video here. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, see you in a future video. Thank you very much, and namaste.